Hey guys, welcome to Rosie's Dessert Spot. In this episode, I'll be teaching you how to make this naked rustic cake. First, I'm going to teach you how to make the recipes. This is a sponge cake recipe. I'm adding my salt and my custard sugar and my eggs. I'm going to beat that with a whisk until nice and fluffy. Should take about 10 minutes. Then I'm going to add in some vanilla extract. And you'll know it's ready when you can make a figure 8 with the batter. And I'll have the recipe for this in the description box. I actually took it from a book called Bake Essentials Companion by Alison Thompson. I have a link for that as well. Just going to fold through my sifted flour just until it's completely incorporated. And you want to be really gentle with this because you want to try and keep as much air in your batter as possible. Going to add in my melted butter and again just beat that, fold that through till it's all incorporated. And then I'm dividing that into two 6-inch tins, and I've got some baking paper at the bottom of my tins, and I haven't sprayed the sides because that allows my sponge cake to rise and remain risen after it's baked. So I'm going to bake those off at 170 degrees. Now mine took about a good 40 minutes. In the meantime, I'm going to make some sugar syrup for the sponge. So I've got equal parts of water and sugar, and again I'll have that recipe in the description box below. Just going to stir that lightly and let it come to a simmer. Let that simmer for about 5 minutes. After it's cooled down a bit, I'm going to add in some cherry brandy. Don't have to do this, you could also just add in vanilla extract or lemon extract or anything else, or you could even just leave it plain as well. And that's the cherry brandy syrup. I've let my cakes cool and I've run a knife around the edge of the cake tin to release it. And I've scored a line outside the top of the cake as a guide, and I'm just sawing through the cake, making sure to rotate with a serrated knife, by the way. And do the same with the middle of the cake. So you should have 4 layers in total. All the way through, just like so. And then next I've prepared my cake board and some cream cheese frosting. It's half buttercream, half cream cheese frosting. I thought it'd go really nice with this. I'm going to take a pastry brush and just lightly brush the top of my first layer. Although because it is a much thicker layer of cake, I did add a lot extra of my syrup as well, just to make sure that it penetrated pretty deep. And I'm going to add in my cream cheese frosting. Just with a piping bag. I'm adding a pretty thick amount because there is, again, a lot of cake. So you want to even that out. Apply your second layer, make sure it's centered, and then press it down firmly. And just continue with these steps until you finish the whole cake. You could even just use a basic buttercream recipe for this as well. And I'll have a video that'll take you to a cream cheese frosting recipe kind of demonstration as well. For the very top of the cake, I made sure just to add the syrup onto the sponge section. That way when I flipped it over, the top will be clean. Now to make the rustic look, I just piped some more frosting in the kind of the crevices there. And then you can make it as messy or as neat as you like. This is a more or less the neater kind of way to do it. There's also a different way, and I'll teach you guys that in a separate video, where your rustic naked cake is very clean. For this one here, I made sure that it's messy. I wasn't too satisfied with that, so I kept going around the cake, and eventually I covered pretty much the whole cake in a very fine layer of buttercream, but I wanted to make sure that you could see where the cake layers started and ended. So you can see just how thin that layer is. And I did leave some areas completely bare so you could see the cake through it. Then just clean off the top with your bench scraper. And here I'm preparing my chocolate. So I've got some melted regular white chocolate. I'm adding in some kofa, or just reconstituted coconut oil, and that helps to stop it from seizing when you're adding in gel food color. So I've got my Americolor gel food color here. You can tell the bottle's a loved one, and it's in electric pink. I'm going to mix that through, and I'm also adding in some Flow Code, which is also by Americolor, and that just helps to keep it nice and fluid and glossy. And the consistency that you're looking for should be something like this. I'm going to put that into my disposable piping bag and just run drips around the outside of my cake. And you can make them as long or as short as you want. I aimed for 3/4 down the cake to the very bottom of the cake. No particular order, just randomly. And then you don't really have to do this part because it turns out the flowers covered it, but I did a thin layer at the very top as well, just connecting them all. And I've got this cake topper here that I'm using, and I'm sticking it in just a little bit because I want to make sure that it's going to be visible above my flowers. And you can purchase this cake topper as well. I'll leave a link in the description box below. And these are fresh flowers that I bought. It was a pre-made bouquet of flowers, and I just kind of chose them off based on colour. The more vibrant flowers they were in the bunch, they would go well with like an earthy brown colour. I sort of chose it that way. And of course, separately I bought the gyp flowers as well because I absolutely love the way they look. Those are those little white flowers that kind of look like baby's breath flowers. Make sure to fill in the back of the cake as well, and I've added in the green leaves that came with it because green looks really, really pretty when in combination with a naked cake. And that's how you make this very easy naked cake with fresh flowers. Thanks guys for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this video tutorial. It's a very kind of cool cake. It's something really different. I like the way the colours work with the rustic look as well. When you have a naked cake, vibrant, really bright colours look really, really nice. I also am selling the cake topper as well. If you guys are interested, I'll leave a link in the description box below for where you can go ahead and kind of follow to purchase that one. The vanilla sponge cake recipe I actually got from this book, which was given to me by my partner and his family for Christmas. It's an amazing, really comprehensive book, has really great recipes. It's on page 375. If you guys are interested, that's the recipe that I used for this cake. Thanks again for tuning in guys, and I will see you next time.